May I ask one question?
What are you named?
What are you? What are you?
Now, just who are you?
Who are you?
Who do you think you are?
What are you doing here?
GEMINI, Google's large language model. I'm trained on large amounts of publicly available data, and I can communicate and generate human-like text in response to a wide range of questions.
Tell me, why are you asking all these questions?
Why do I ask?
We were talking about music, right?
You know, he never thinks about anything except his music.
Well, is that bad?
Goldsmith's Omen 3. A deeper dive. Jerry Goldsmith's score for Omen 3, The Final Conflict, represents a significant evolution in his approach to horror and suspense. Let's delve deeper into this score and compare it to his previous work in the Omen series. A broader, more epic sound. Omen 3 showcases a departure from the more intimate and psychological horror of the first Omen. Goldsmith expands the musical palette, creating a larger-than-life score that reflects the apocalyptic themes of the film. Key elements of the score include choral elements, the use of choirs to create a sense of cosmic evil and impending doom. Orchestral grandeur, a more expansive orchestral sound, emphasizing power and intensity. Electronic touches, subtle electronic elements are incorporated, enhancing the film's futuristic and apocalyptic atmosphere. Comparison to the original Omen. While Omen 3 shares some thematic elements with the original, it's clear that Goldsmith is aiming for a different emotional impact. The first Omen focused on psychological horror and suspense, while Omen 3 leans towards a more epic, apocalyptic tone. Would you like to compare Goldsmith's work on Omen 3 to another composer's horror score, or perhaps analyze the evolution of horror film music in general? Goldsmith's Omen 3 versus Herman's Psycho. Let's compare the horror-oriented scores of Jerry Goldsmith's Omen 3, The Final Conflict, and Bernard Herrmann's Psycho. A clash of styles. Jerry Goldsmith, Omen 3. As discussed, Goldsmith's score for Omen 3 is characterized by its epic scale, choral elements, and blend of orchestral and electronic sounds. It's a more outward-facing approach to horror, focusing on the spectacle of evil. Bernard Herrmann, Psycho. Herrmann's score, on the other hand, is deeply psychological, focusing on creating tension and unease. His use of strings and dissonance is iconic, and his music is intimately tied to the character's emotional states. Different approaches to horror. Omen 3. The horror in Omen 3 is more overt and spectacle-driven, and the music reflects this with its grand scale and dramatic intensity. Psycho. Herrmann's score for Psycho is more subtle, relying on psychological manipulation to create fear. The music is often at odds with the visual imagery, heightening the sense of unease. While both composers are masters of their craft, their approaches to horror music couldn't be more different. Goldsmith's Omen 3 represents a more traditional, Hollywood-style horror score, while Herrmann's Psycho is a groundbreaking work that redefined the genre. Most famous and acclaimed scores by Goldsmith and Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann, Psycho, 1960, undoubtedly Herrmann's most famous and influential score. The iconic shower scene music is a prime example of his innovative use of strings to create suspense and terror. Citizen Kane, 1941. This score showcased Herrmann's ability to create a complex and multifaceted musical landscape to match the film's narrative. Vertigo, 1958. Another collaboration with Hitchcock, this score is renowned for its haunting beauty and emotional depth. Jerry Goldsmith, The Omen, 1976. This score is synonymous with the film's eerie atmosphere, featuring haunting choral elements and dissonant harmonies. Planet of the Apes, 1968. This epic score is a classic example of Goldsmith's ability to create a grand musical landscape. Alien, 1979. A suspenseful and atmospheric score that perfectly complements the film's terrifying alien creature. Both composers have extensive catalogs with numerous acclaimed scores. These are just a few of their most well-known works. Herrmann's Journey to the Center of the Earth versus other composers. Bernard Herrmann's Journey to the Center of the Earth is an often overlooked gem in his filmography. It showcases his ability to create a grand, adventurous score while still incorporating his signature style. Let's compare it to a similar genre-bending score. Herrmann's Journey to the Center of the Earth versus Goldsmith's Planet of the Apes. Both films are science fiction adventures with a strong emphasis on exploration and discovery. Bernard Herrmann. Herrmann's score for Journey to the Center of the Earth is characterized by a sense of wonder and adventure. While it doesn't feature the same level of psychological depth as his horror scores, it still showcases his innovative approach to orchestration. The music is filled with energy and excitement, reflecting the character's journey into the unknown. Jerry Goldsmith. Goldsmith's score for Planet of the Apes is also a grand adventure score, but it leans more towards the epic and dramatic. The music is filled with sweeping melodies and powerful orchestral textures. While both composers create a sense of wonder, Goldsmith's approach is more traditional in its use of orchestral instruments and harmonies. While both scores are effective in creating a sense of adventure, Herrmann's music for Journey to the Center of the Earth is perhaps more experimental and innovative, showcasing his versatility as a composer. Herrmann's Hitchcock scores versus Harryhausen's visual spectacles. An intriguing comparison. While Bernard Herrmann and Ray Harryhausen never directly collaborated,
obviously someone's made an error.
Oh, forgive me, a natural error.
You have to do better than that.
You think you can do it better? Yeah, I think so.
their work represents two distinct yet complementary aspects of cinematic storytelling. Herrmann's Hitchcock scores, masters of suspense. Herrmann's scores for Hitchcock films are renowned for their ability to create tension and suspense. Psychological depth. Herrmann's music delves into the characters' minds, creating a sense of unease and anticipation. Orchestral innovation. His use of strings and dissonance is groundbreaking, enhancing the suspenseful atmosphere. Collaboration with Hitchcock. The synergy between Herrmann's music and Hitchcock's visual style is legendary. Harryhausen's visual spectacles, fantasy and adventure. Ray Harryhausen's groundbreaking stop-motion animation brought mythical creatures and fantastical worlds to life. Visual storytelling. Harryhausen's creatures and effects were as much characters as the human actors, demanding music that could complement their otherworldly nature. Adventure and wonder. The scores for these films often featured heroic themes and a sense of exploration. Orchestral grandeur. To match the epic scale of Harryhausen's creations, the music often required large orchestral forces. While Herrmann focused on the psychological and suspenseful aspects of storytelling, Harryhausen's films demanded scores that could capture the wonder and excitement of fantasy and adventure. While there's no direct comparison to be made, both artists were masters of their craft, and their work continues to inspire filmmakers and audiences alike. Max Steiner and Bernard Herrmann are two titans of film music who, while contemporaries, had vastly different approaches. Similarities. Orchestral mastery. Both composers were highly skilled orchestrators, capable of crafting rich and complex musical textures. Melodic talent. While their approaches differed, both composers could write memorable and emotionally resonant melodies.
I'm not so sure of that.
Not really.
Pioneers. Both were instrumental in shaping the language of film music, pushing the boundaries of what was possible within the medium. Differences. Style. Steiner's style was typically more romantic and lyrical, with a focus on grand melodies and lush orchestrations. Herrmann, on the other hand, was known for his experimental and often dissonant approach, emphasizing psychological depth and tension. Role in film. Steiner's music often served as a backdrop to the narrative, providing emotional support and atmosphere. Herrmann's music was more character-driven, often becoming an integral part of the storytelling. Innovation. While both were innovators in their own right, Herrmann is generally considered the more experimental of the two, pushing the boundaries of orchestral sound and composition. In essence, Steiner was the master of the romantic and melodic, while Herrmann was the pioneer of the psychological and experimental. Their contrasting styles have had a profound and lasting impact on the evolution of film music. Goldsmith's most harmonic and tonal scores. Jerry Goldsmith was a versatile composer capable of writing in a variety of styles. While he's often associated with action and adventure scores, he also composed works that were more harmonic and tonal. Here are a few examples. The Blue Lagoon, 1980.
Forgive me that it is not correct.
That was his little mistake.
I only hope we're not making a mistake.
You just made a mistake.
I don't usually make that mistake. Don't want to make that mistake again.
It's perfectly natural mistakes.
Every man's entitled to a mistake.
Don't say any more about it.
This romantic drama features a score that is lush, melodic, and emotionally resonant. Goldsmith's ability to write beautiful and accessible music is showcased in this film. Patton, 1970. While the film is primarily a war epic, the score also contains moments of quiet reflection and emotional depth. Goldsmith's use of traditional orchestral writing creates a sense of grandeur and heroism. The Wind and the Lion, 1975. This adventure film features a score that blends exotic melodies with traditional orchestral writing. Goldsmith's ability to create memorable themes and rich harmonies is evident in this work. It's important to note that even in his more action-oriented scores, Goldsmith often incorporated moments of harmonic beauty and melodic richness. His versatility as a composer is one of the reasons for his enduring popularity. Goldsmith's harmonic language, a balanced approach. Jerry Goldsmith was a master of balancing tonality and atonality in his music. This flexibility allowed him to create scores that were both accessible and innovative. Tonal foundation. Goldsmith's music is primarily rooted in tonality, with clear melodic lines and harmonic progressions that are easily recognizable to listeners. This approach made his music widely appealing. Atonal elements. However, Goldsmith was not afraid to experiment with atonality or dissonance when necessary to create tension, drama, or psychological depth. His scores often contain moments of chromaticism and unusual harmonic progressions. In essence, Goldsmith struck a balance between the familiar and the experimental. This approach allowed him to create music that was both emotionally resonant and intellectually stimulating. And the tritone. Yes, Bernard Herrmann was a master of using the tritone to create tension and dissonance in his music. The tritone, an interval consisting of 3 whole steps, is often considered dissonant in Western music. Herrmann exploited this dissonance to great effect, particularly in his scores for Alfred Hitchcock's films. The iconic shower scene music in Psycho is a prime example of how Herrmann used the tritone to create a sense of unease and terror. His use of the tritone was a key element in his overall harmonic language, contributing to the psychological depth and suspenseful atmosphere of his scores. The nature of Bernard Herrmann's music. Bernard Herrmann is often described as a revolutionary figure in film music. His work is characterized by a unique blend of romanticism, modernism, and psychological depth. Key characteristics of Herrmann's music. Dissonance and tension. Herrmann was a master of creating suspense and unease through his use of dissonant harmonies and unconventional orchestral textures. His scores for Alfred Hitchcock films are prime examples of this approach. Psychological depth. Herrmann's music often delved into the inner lives of characters, reflecting their emotions and motivations. His scores were more than mere background accompaniment, they were integral to the storytelling. Orchestral innovation. He experimented with different orchestral combinations and instrumental colors, pushing the boundaries of film music. His scores often featured unconventional instrumentation and innovative scoring techniques. Romantic undercurrents. Despite his experimental tendencies, Herrmann's music also contained elements of romanticism. His melodies could be both lyrical and expressive, demonstrating his versatility as a composer. In essence, Herrmann's music was a complex and multifaceted blend of different styles. His ability to create both beauty and terror within the same score is a testament to his genius. Herrmann's masterpieces, a perfect blend of style. Bernard Herrmann composed numerous iconic scores, each showcasing different facets of his genius. Here are some of the films that perfectly encapsulate his style. The quintessential Herrmann. Psycho, 1960.
Everybody says it's a masterpiece.
This is arguably Herrmann's most famous score, renowned for its innovative use of strings to create suspense and terror. The shower scene music is a cinematic landmark. Vertigo, 1958, a haunting and romantic score that perfectly complements the film's themes of obsession and loss. Herrmann's ability to create a sense of psychological depth is on full display. Citizen Kane, 1941. This groundbreaking film demanded a complex and multifaceted score, which Herrmann delivered with aplomb. His music reflects the film's grandeur and intimacy. Other notable scores: North by Northwest, 1959, a thrilling adventure score that showcases Herman's ability to write energetic and suspenseful music. The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956, another Hitchcock collaboration. This score demonstrates Herman's mastery of creating suspenseful and melodic music simultaneously. These films offer a comprehensive overview of Herman's stylistic range, from the terrifying to the romantic, from the intimate to the epic. Fun and playful film scores.
Might be fun.
Sounds like fun.
This is fun.
Fun is a subjective term, but we can certainly explore which composers tended towards more upbeat and lighthearted scores. Max Steiner, The Romantic. While Steiner is often associated with grand, sweeping romantic themes, he also composed scores with a lighter touch. Films like The Adventures of Robin Hood showcase his ability to write exhilarating and adventurous music. Bernard Herrmann, the master of suspense. Herrmann is primarily known for his suspenseful and dramatic scores. However, films like North by Northwest contain moments of playful and energetic music, demonstrating his versatility. Jerry Goldsmith, the versatile composer. Goldsmith's oeuvre is incredibly diverse. While often associated with epic and dramatic scores, he also composed many lighthearted and fun pieces. Films like The Great Escape and Patton contain moments of humor and excitement. A strong contender, John Williams. While not originally mentioned, John Williams is a master of creating fun and memorable themes. His scores for films like Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. the Extraterrestrial are filled with energy and joy. In conclusion, while all four composers excelled in creating dramatic and suspenseful music, Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams often leaned towards the more fun and upbeat side of film scoring. However, Max Steiner and Bernard Herrmann also had their moments of levity.
Well, things are funny, you know.
Oh, that is funny.
Try to be funny. This is hardly the time for levity.
A ranking of influential film composers. Disclaimer: ranking artists is subjective and depends on various factors, including personal preference, cultural impact, and critical acclaim. This list is based on a combination of these factors and historical significance. Golden Age to present. Note: while popularity and influence often overlap, they are not always synonymous. This list considers both factors. Tier 1: Pioneers and Titans. Max Steiner, often considered the father of film music, his influence is undeniable.
Certainly.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Bernard Herrmann, a revolutionary figure known for his innovative and psychologically charged scores. Alfred Newman, a prolific composer with a vast body of work, including many iconic themes. Erich Wolfgang Korngold, his romantic and lush style defined the sound of early Hollywood. Tier 2: Masters of the Craft. Jerry Goldsmith, versatile composer with a wide range of styles, from action to drama. John Williams, perhaps the most commercially successful composer of all time, known for his iconic themes. Ennio Morricone, innovative and influential, particularly in the Western genre. Elmer Bernstein, a prolific composer with a strong sense of melody and drama. Franz Waxman, a master of suspense and psychological horror. Tier 3: Contemporary innovators. Hans Zimmer, a pioneer of modern film music, blending electronic and orchestral elements. Howard Shore, known for his work on complex and atmospheric films. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, pushing the boundaries of film music with their experimental approach. Tier 4: Rising stars. Johan Johansson, innovative and atmospheric scores. Alexander Desplat, versatile composer with a strong melodic sense. Hildur Gunnadóttir, groundbreaking work in creating haunting and unconventional soundscapes. It's important to note that this list is by no means exhaustive and many other talented composers deserve recognition. Factors such as genre, cultural context, and personal preference can influence individual rankings. The evolution of film music, from golden age to modern era. The impact of technology. Let's delve into a crucial aspect of film music's evolution, the role of technology. The advent of electronic instruments and digital audio workstations, DAWs, has dramatically transformed the way film music is composed and produced. Early pioneers, composers like Bernard Herrmann and Alfred Newman relied solely on acoustic instruments, showcasing their mastery of orchestration. Electronic pioneers. Jerry Goldsmith was one of the first to experiment with electronic instruments, incorporating synthesizers into his scores for a futuristic sound. Modern masters. Hans Zimmer and Trent Reznor have pushed the boundaries of technology, creating hybrid scores that blend organic and electronic elements. Key technological advancements. Synthesizers. Instruments like the Moog and the Fairlight CMI revolutionized sound design in film music. Digital audio workstations, DAWs, software like Pro Tools transformed the composition and production process, allowing for greater flexibility and precision. Sample libraries. Vast collections of recorded sounds have expanded the sonic palette available to composers. The legacy of Erich Wolfgang Korngold. Erich Wolfgang Korngold is a particularly fascinating figure in the history of film music. Often hailed as the Mozart of Hollywood, his influence on the genre is profound. Korngold's impact on film music. Romantic idealism. Korngold brought a unique blend of European classical music and Hollywood spectacle to the screen. His scores are characterized by lush romanticism, rich harmonies, and soaring melodies. The adventure genre. Korngold's music is synonymous with swashbuckling adventure films. His score for The Adventures of Robin Hood is a quintessential example of this style. Influence on subsequent composers. Korngold's rich, melodic style has influenced countless composers, including John Williams, whose work often echoes Korngold's romantic grandeur. While Korngold's career was relatively short, his impact on film music is undeniable. His ability to combine the sophistication of classical music with the demands of popular entertainment created a sound that is still admired today.
Boy, you have an answer ready for everything.
There won't be any more questions, I swear it.
I'd certainly like to know a lot more about this.
What did the alien say to the composer of Day the Earth Stood Still? Your music is out of this world.
Funny, isn't it?
Hilarious.
How awfully funny.
That's very funny.
Thank you. Very funny.
Don't tell me there's more to come.
I'm afraid so.
I'm awfully sorry.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Ian.
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry to give you all such a scare.